Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, and my friends, here we are with the third and final of our character previews for Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, this time talking about Vox Reaper. Now, if you're looking for more City of the Wolves coverage, please check the channel. We got a bunch of videos live already, but for this video, let's talk about Vox, our newcomer. Now, I guess one thing to say about Vox out of the gate, he is a brand new, 100% new character, although, like our coverage for Preacher, like our coverage for Marco Rodriguez, he is very much a student and inheritor of another style. And that would be that of Grant. Grant, who was the mini-boss, the boss before the big boss, in Garou, Mark of the Wolves. And much of what makes Grant Grant, Vox also has. His ability to use purple energy through dark karate, as that's what it's called. So dark karate, all sorts of uppercuts, dive kicks, body checks, just big old body rushes, just flinging himself into the enemy directly, even amalgamating several of his super moves together. Vox is very much on that Grant vibe, and once again, he's directly his student. It's not perfectly one-to-one though, Grant being very large. Vox doesn't quite have some of his extra big boy moves, although that said, Vox has a couple of tricks of his own that Grant does not have. Now, why not Grant? Why not just do Grant instead of Vox, right? Well, for Preacher, Joe, the Master, Joe's probably a playable character in the game. For Marco, Rio is his master. Rio might make an appearance as another character. But Grant, well, Grant dead, y'all. He was already sort of dying in Mark of the Wolves, and, well, he's just gone. Vox was basically a street punk taken under Grant's wing, and now Vox, like Grant before him, works for the big bad Kane, who is Geese Howard's brother-in-law and took over things once Geese died, and Geese is still dead for now. Vox evokes Grant's mask on his face, like he literally paints the horns on his head, and also you'll see him bust out the mask in one of his supers. So what is Vox exactly? By the standard definitions of fighting game archetypes, I guess we would call him a brawler. He has no projectiles, he has no full screen presence at all, but what he does have is some very hard-hitting moves up close, a pretty decent neutral all things told, and also a command grab. So that said, let's just talk about his moveset. So one, his normals, they're pretty okay. The one real standout right there is the stand heavy kick. Stand heavy kick has got some range on it. Part of the reason why I think his neutral is actually quite good, because it's very strong as a poke. So one of his main specials, just quarter circle back on one of your two punch buttons, and this is also another key of his neutral. So these create giant, technically it's karate. It says it's karate, so giant karate explosions, and they're modular a little bit here. So if you just do it in neutral, it's a gigantic hitbox. That's a light version specifically. Big hitbox controls a lot of space. And both versions, if you do it right beside the enemy, it actually changes, and then you get a knockback effect. So light's just a regular knockdown. The heavy version, this is Grant's version, is a gigantic launcher that you can easily combo from. And the EX version, he just does both one after the other. And since you're doing both one after the other, if you're up close, it's just more launching, more juggles, and seems to be one of his key party starters. So yeah, very good for combos, all that kind of stuff. And I don't got the numbers, there's no frame data yet or anything, but just abusing it in neutral just seems really strong on paper. So like Grant, he has, the uppercut, the fighting game uppercut. Like what else to call it, right? Light punch version is invincible. Heavy punch version is stronger, but not invincible, and also break cancelable, so good for combos. But the thing that makes this unique over other characters is that after any given uppercut, as long as you don't break cancel it, you can go directly into the demon dive kick. Obviously does more damage, also leaves you directly on top of the enemy as they wake up, so very strong. You can also just do the dive kick whenever off almost any jump. Unlike Grant, he cannot do it while jumping backwards, which was kind of strong. Given the angle of the dive kick, you just run away and then do it whenever you see them kind of commit, right? But yeah, it's still very strong. As far as I can tell, usual dive kick logic applies. If you hit them lower to the ground, you'll not be in any way punishable, might be even a little plus. No matter the game, it's always a good thing to have a dive kick. Always. He also has Grant's shoulder charge, and it's about what you would expect. He just charges forward and just smashes into the enemy. Good for, juggle combo filler off, say, like a breaked uppercut. Heavy version, instead of the shoulder, you get the fist. Also, it is break cancelable, and instead of doing the shoulder, when you break it, he just dashes forward and fakes you out. Now, why do a dash forward fake out? Because he's got a command grab, y'all, and faking people out is a pretty good way to land a command grab. Now, for those of you who are not as familiar with SNK games, say versus like Street Fighter or whatever, you might notice it's not the most damage. The reason is due to the nature of the game, the fact that you can run, the fact that characters that can dash have dash cancels, the fact that you have short jumps, all that. It's just much easier to land a command grab comparative to, say, Street Fighter. So grabs will happen more often, but they won't do as much damage. Now, the EX grab is very much meant to be a dump move. Like by itself, it doesn't do much. I think it actually does less than the regular grab, right? But since it's an EX move and we have the Rev Excel system, that means you can do EX grab into many other different moves. Now, this is a very basic example, but you can see here, EX grab on the last hit, we Rev Excel cancel to another EX, Rev Excel that, cancel to another EX, and now the damage is starting to add up. And of course, on top of dumping Rev meter, you can dump your super meter into it as well, right? So you can get a good chunk of damage off the command grab, you just got to be willing to commit some resources. So regular grab when you're just looking to sneak some damage in, EX grab when you're looking to win the round. So for supers, he has Grant supers, and this one super with the giant axe kicks actually mixes both of Grant's supers together, which I think is really cool. His next super is a Vox original, so he does like the kind of, anime pass by you thing here. Whoa, there we go. I'm not even looking at you now, and then boom, gotcha. I don't know, I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. I think it's kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie. And for our big hidden gear, the Ultra Cinematic Super, this is where he busts out Grant's mask. Like, it's broken, it's damaged. Obviously, in Grant's final hours, something bad kind of happened to him. Maybe Vox even took him out, who knows. But he's wearing the mask, and then just one giant blow of dark karate. I love dark karate. So yeah, strong neutral presence, good buttons, has the command grab, combo structure seems interesting. Just like the other characters, I now realize so many things I could have done that I didn't have in my brain at the time. But still, launch into EX and the Rev Excel, more launches, dash, then break cancel the uppercut, and then do a super or something after the fact. Like, that's cool stuff. Just seeing the nonstop glows of EX after EX after EX, and then, manually putting your own touch on a combo with a break cancel. Combo structure in this game is just actually legitimately fun to mess around with. And as a character, I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw Vox, I didn't like him, straight up. Because Grant's big, he's not big, I'm gonna like Grant more. But as I was playing him, he definitely has like a personality to him that's not immediately apparent just by looking at a screenshot. Like his idle animation, he's just kind of silently staring you down like, hey, I'm watching you. And he'll put his hands to his lips and go like, shh. And that, he's a street punk guy, right? Like, in a lot of his poses and moves and all that, when he's actually, doing stuff that connects and works, he's trying to seem calm, cool, collected, dark karate assassin, all that. But when he whiffs, you can tell, the street side of him's coming out.
Ah, shit! Ah, shit! Ah, shit! Ah, shit!
It was one of those moments that made me very glad for the fact that this game has a dub, because that kind of personality trait would have been lost on me entirely if I didn't hear it for myself in English. And that, in a nutshell, is Vox Reaper. Admittedly, at first, I kind of just didn't like him. Then I got my hands on him, you know what? As we go through, I started digging him more and more and more. So far, him and Preacher, the newcomers, seem to be doing pretty okay by this game. And definitely seem to be worthwhile additions. That all said, though, that is the coverage of Vox. Once again, just like everyone else, I didn't have forever to look through everything, right? I only had a limited time. In the future, I'm sure there'll be super advanced crazy combos and all that. But for now, hopefully this will get you by. Make sure to check the channel for the Fatal Fury City of the Wolves coverage we already have live. And I'm sure there'll be plenty more to come ahead of the game's launch sometime early next year. But for now, that is the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well. And go out and play some Fatal Fury.